Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, Chief Envelope Liquor and Stamp Putter Honor for Critical Blast Logistics, and I do some editing for Critical Blast Publishing. We don't yet quite have Critical Blast car washes, but we are working on lining that up. I'll look for one near you anytime in the near future here. If we can figure out a way to do that over the internet, we will. So one of the things that you hear a lot about the demise of comics is the lack of genre, in that, back in my day, we had comic books about everything. And that's why manga is winning everything, because manga does books about everything. There's a genre for golf and tennis and cooking. So no more excuses. I have not seen in decades. And I know that some existed because I actually have one. I have Bozo. I have a Bozo comic at home. But I have not seen in a long time Circus comics, and marrying that with Circus mysteries. So, Eric, Nicholas in the chat, welcome, and let me direct your attention to the center ring when I bring on Mr. Paul Gomez, the creative mind behind Booshie Boo Circus Mysteries.
Thank you.
Welcome, Paul, and boy, do I have questions.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm excited about this. A circus mystery. I whenever I was putting it together, I was thinking of Scooby-Doo meets Criminal Minds, and I wanted to bring something new out there. And I know everybody always says, "I want something new. I want something new," but you got to force the envelope a little and kind of find a way to do that. And I hope that's what I'm done, because everybody seems to be saying that this is something they've never heard of. And I want to bring to the readers something that they hadn't seen quite as often.
Well, the first thing that jumps out to me isn't the fact that it's a circus mystery. It's that it's called Booshie Boo. I'm like, the way that's like baby talk or something. I mean, where's this coming from? What is a Booshie Boo?
Well, there's a lot of stories about how it came up and where things came from. Whenever I first started into comic creating, it was right after the pandemic hit. I had lost my job. They had let me go. And me
I
and
can
my
relate.
kids were like forced in that house where we were just kind of stuck there, and everybody's morale was down. So I gathered up my kids and family together, and I was like, look, let's do something to keep our morale up. And one of the things I thought of was making a story together. So my youngest kid, he is 5 years old currently, and at the time he was about 4, maybe just turning 4. And he used to go running around going, "Booshie, booshie, boom," and he would like run into people. So one of my teenagers was like, "Let's call it Booshie, booshie, boom." And I was like, if I do that and make the main character one of these cannonball people that just burst out, that could be the great title of the circus, Booshie Booshie,
Yes.
boom, and then have that explosion where he's flying out. And that's where Booshie Booshie boom came from. Booshie Booshie
But
Circus.
but it became something shorter now because it's just Booshie and Boo, not Boom.
Yeah, right.
So now
I mean,
it's almost a Scooby Doo, Boo kind
right,
of
right,
thing.
and exactly. I mean, whenever we were first thinking of it, it was Booshie Booshie boom, and that was gonna be like his catchphrase whenever he shot out, Booshie Booshie boom. But then it did get shortened down because of like Scooby Doo. It was like Scooby Doo, Booshie Boo, and I was like, it's unique.
So this all takes place in a circus. I'm guessing the meddling kids are all trapeze artists and human cannonballs and
Well,
the like.
Well, again, the great thing was I was sitting in a room basically in the house with my kids, and I was like, "What kind of story do y'all want to do?" And y- with a bunch of kids nowadays, the first thing they jumped to was, "Let's do Harry Potter," and I'm like, "It's kind of done. I don't
Yeah.
want to redo Harry Potter," and they're like, "Well, let's do Buffy the Vampire Slayer," and I'm like, "Vampires, magic." All that's been
Your kids
done.
are old school TV watchers.
They really are. They were watching a lot of the stuff that I was watching, and they'd catch on to a bunch of stuff, and they'd fall in love with it. So, it was like, what can we do Harry Potter like, or like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but change that background to, like, circus stuff? Because you don't see circus stuff every day. Now, we did see, The Greatest Showman, but that was a movie, and
Yeah.
we didn't see really comics that way. And one of the shows that I saw after we came up with this idea was Are You Afraid of the Dark? And I was like, what if we did a circus background with these teenagers or 20 somethings coming into their own and being apprentices? So the three main characters are basically apprentices coming in. The ringleader's an apprentice. His first day is this first comic. And then the main girl is Zahara, and she's a tiger trainer. And it was like, why would someone want to be a tiger trainer? Let's explore that. I mean, how often do you get a story of why someone would put a head in a tiger's mouth?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you get an entire Netflix series out of something like that.
Right, right. Well, I mean, to me, it was like these ideas that me and my kids were coming up with. I was just expanding on it, and it started exciting me because it was like, whenever I say I wanted to do Scooby Doo meets Criminal Minds, I wanted to do something a little more mature, but still that my kids could relate to.
Yeah. I get that, and I was going to ask, exactly what kind of mysteries you run into, and I'm going to bring the page up here so people can see it. This is the Kickstarter page for the Booshie Boo Circus Mysteries, because while there haven't been a whole lot of books devoted to circuses still show up, and they're never a fun thing when they show up in comics. Let's talk to Dick Grayson about that, how he feels.
Eh,
And
speaking of Dick Grayson, I actually named two of my characters because of my love for Robin. Two of the characters that the parents of one of the boys, or the boys, both boys, is named Richard, and the mother's name's Barbara.
oh, okay, so I get the connection. I was trying to think what Richard Grayson's parents, the Flying Graysons, were. I can't remember them off the top of my head now. I want to say it was Richard and Mary, but I think he actually had another name. And of course, there's Boston Brand. Dead Man was if you're a trapeze artist in a comic book, you're gonna die.
Right, right.
And you're gonna be murdered. That's how it works. You murder the trapeze artist by cutting the ropes, or shooting them in mid flip. So,
Right.
so what kind of mysteries do these guys have to solve? Because it can't be the circus owner in a mask. It's old man McGillicuddy,
Right.
because it's their circus.
Now, here's the thing. I mean, well, I wanted to make it kind of similar, but kind of different. So there's different ways, different mysteries, and of course, like I said, whenever I say meets Criminal Minds, I also wanted it to be serial killers in there. It's like, who would ever thought serial killers inside of a circus?
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he
So
dressed
I
up as
mean,
the kids. Well, you don't have any clowns
yeah,
in the circus because they're automatically sus.
not yet, right?
Yeah, you see, you get a clown in the circus, he's your bad guy, imposter. He's among us. Eject him now.
See, now I would project that too, but here's the thing. Like I said, even though I'm making something like Scooby Doo, I wanted to change it. So even though you're going to have a bad guy clown, what if you fell in love with this guy?
Oh no, no!
Yeah.
Don't make the bad guy somebody we're going to be. No, when we find out.
And I'm telling you, it's going to be. I don't want it to be normal, but again, I still pull from the stuff that I love. I pull from Dexter. I pull from Monk. I pull from these great shows that have these great villains in them, but I change them up in a way that you're still gonna love them, but you're gonna hate yourself for loving them as well.
Okay, now I want. Now you said Dexter. Now I want this book. A Scooby Doo. Yeah, I'm all behind that. Interior art on this thing is really nice. I mean, it's got kind of an exaggerated style to it, which is sort of like the Ramos, Humberto Ramos style,
Right.
but it's not over exaggerated. When I first saw Ramos on Impulse, I was like, not digging it, but not horrible. This is exaggerated, but digging it at the same time. I really like the facial expressions, the body types on this, and the animals, which you're gonna have a lot of in a circus.
Right, right. And the animals are going to be featured definitely throughout. These two tigers, these twin tigers, they are going to be the heartbeat of the comic for a little while. And I definitely wanted the colors to pop out at you. I wanted them to grab your attention. What Brian and Gabe did with these beautiful pages is they capture your eye and they lead you from one story to the next or one page to the next. And it makes you wonder where it's going to go because it makes it seems cartoony. But then again, how far is it going to be that way? I mean, when is that Criminal Minds aspect coming in?
Yeah, and this is, it's, you can tell that this is a more mature book, but it's not a mature book.
Exactly.
You got you can tell she's nudie, but and then they were in bed together, but it's like in Teen Titans #1, the Baxter version, when Dick and Corey said, that was my first time. I was like, holy crap,
right?
and
like I said, something. Me and my kids put this together, and one of the things that I really wanted to do with all of my comics is not cross that bounds.
Yeah.
I did want to push it to the limit because my teenagers are 13 right now, and I wanted them to be able to pick it up and read it and be like, oh, but not to that point where if a parent picks it up for their kid and they're like, well, I didn't think there was going to be nudity in it, so I didn't want to push it that far. Because I don't think it needs to go.
Yeah, because so many books that do go that way,
right,
don't need to go that way for the story, or they didn't have a story in the first place, and that was the selling point.
Right,
was to have the visuals. So as long as you got story, then yeah, you don't need this. You can go the Hemingway fluttering curtains kind of cutaway scene if you absolutely have to.
And one of the things I always say is my comic books are for fans. Made by fans because I love comic books. I mean, I collected since I was about 12 years old, and I can't imagine making a comic book that crosses that bounds just to cross that bounds. I wanted to make a comic book for everybody, especially younger readers, but I still wanted to push the envelope a little bit.
Well, let's go back to there and find out what got you into the comics industry. What was your gateway book?
Oh man, X-Men. My first book that I picked up was an X-Men. I crossed Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and I picked up an X-Men annual, and it had Bishop in it. Bishop was one of my favorite characters for years. Him and Forge and Cyclops. It was this group of people that were so misunderstood, and it just reached out to me. And just like X-Men, where they had those stories where Storm and Forge were together, it just grabbed me, and I wanted to bring stuff like that out too. But I still wanted there to be that mystery in it, that action in it, and definitely that story that just pulls you into the book.
Yeah, and I kind of got the feeling that you came in that era. Like I'm always talking to these young kids. It's like, when did you come into comics? With the '90s, of course you did, because that's what everybody wants. Is they wants the '90s comics back. I came in the early '70s. I want the early '70s comics back.
Right.
I want Silver Age Superman. I want single issue Batman stories again. Because I don't think 100 issues is worth my time to collect just to follow the entire issue, entire
Yeah.
story.
Now I got to admit that this. Whenever we started talking about it and I started writing notes, I decided I was going to make it a 12 issue series. But my second book that I wrote that actually came out first was PTSD, and that's a one shot.
Okay, so you have done comics before this one. That's correct. And they were Kickstarter?
Well, this was the first one that we started writing. It just so happened I had a lot of bad luck with the interior artist, so I decided to go ahead and write a second one, and everything just kind of came into place with that one, that it came out first. And yeah, we did Kickstart it, fully funded. It got fully fulfilled and everything. I sent the last one off, I think, about 2 days ago. But yeah, I got lucky, and with my first one, fully fulfilled and blessed.
Excellent. So with the Booshie Boo Circus Mysteries, then you said you are looking at this being a 12 issue series?
Yes, definitely a 12 issue series. I've like I said, I wanted to do something with a serial killer, and I didn't feel like that kind of thing could be fulfilled in just one issue. I felt like you have to do a build up with that kind of stuff.
You kind of have to be serial with it.
Yeah, you have to be. And that was one of the main things. It's like we came up with this villain, this bad guy, me and my kids did, and we were all excited about this twist on this guy. And I was like, I've got to figure out stories beforehand, stories that different arcs for these people, like the three main characters. You got a beautiful young lady. There's obviously going to be some love arc in there, and then these two brothers. One's going to be the ringmaster of the whole thing. There's obviously going to be some jealousy in there as well, and there's going to be other exciting things that pop up throughout the thing, from one issue to another. And I just kind of saw it as a jigsaw coming together when we were just mapping it out. And I know a lot of people say don't start with your epic, and I really didn't mean to. I really just wanted to do something with my kids. And to me,
well, a 12 issue series isn't really an epic if you've done a couple of one shots already. I mean, an epic is more like, a Cerebus, or Spawn. I'm going for 300 issues with this one. It's a 300 issue limited series.
Right.
But are you, what's your business plan? Are you scheduled to deliver on time with all these issues, since you've got so many of them? What's your plan to do that?
Well, I do have a plan with this one. This one's already finished. All the art's done. The cover
for one issue.
For this issue, yes.
Yeah.
Now, as a starting writer and creator, I feel like that I have to build me a library, because I don't want to put all my money into one line of comics. Now, this is my first, and obviously with my kids involved, it's definitely one that my heart's into. Now,
Sure.
whenever I released PTSD, that was one that I worked on by myself, and it was a little more mature for my kids. But again, my heart was into that one as well. I've got two others coming out after this, and one of which is almost halfway done already. And then after those two comics, I want to come back and do my second issue of this, and then continue on every 3 months or so with this one, and just go from there.
Is that something that you can maintain a schedule on every 3 months? And the
I
reason I bring this up is we just did a 2-hour stream last night about late comics,
Right.
and looking at stuff that's been like 6 months late to a year late to longer late. So it's a hot topic right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, whenever I started in on this, it was March. And I do have to admit that I did get delayed because I had a few artists drop out. Now, I'm not going to promise that it's going to be on time every time, because obviously I've been through some of that trenches. But
Things
I
happen.
will promise that I will continue to make this until I can get to that 12 issue. Do I believe it can be on time? I believe it can be on time, as long as everybody is in pace.
Yeah.
I there's always room for error, though. I think that it could be done in 3 months for the next issue, because I've got my team together. It's
Yeah,
just
but
a
nobody
matter of
expects a pandemic. Nobody expects a paper shortage.
right.
Are you where are you printing at?
Well, I'm printing at not too far away from me, so that
Good.
hasn't been a problem. Yeah, that hadn't been a problem. I'm actually printing through my my friend's publisher, which I'm putting on there. That's Charter Comics, and our publisher is right down in Austin, where I'm in DFW, Fort Worth. And so I haven't had a problem with, like I said, PTSD. It got to the Kickstarter, finalized in the Kickstarter, and we fulfilled within a month. So I had no problems printing at all.
That's the way to do it. You're an upstart company who's already turning in more on time work than
Right.
certain professionals who have gone their
And
own way. Many professionals who have gone their own way.
and I had a lot of people tell me, don't promise that you're going to fulfill within a month. And I said it. I'm going to promise it because I'm going to do it. And if it killed me in doing it, I was going to do it. With this one, I understand why people told me not to promise that. And I am edging back a little, saying it's going to take me 2 months this time. But in all honesty, I'm going to aim for that 1 month.
If
Because
you've
I
got
want to
all
get
the
it out.
art and the printer says it's going to take me 7 days to print it up, this many
Right.
copies, and it's going to take you so long to, get it all ready for fulfillment, then you can say, 3 days plus these days, but we're going to say a month. It adds up.
Yeah.
And,
And that's one of the
plenty of time
things.
to-
I mean, there were certain issues that I had to wait and send out a little later, like the double signed issue that I had on my last Kickstarter. I had it signed by two of the cover artists, where I had to send one of my cover artists their books to sign. They had to send them back. Then I had to send them to the customers, which took an extra week.
Oh,
But
you know how you do that.
how's that?
There's a cheaper way to do this, because I had my first novel was published in Great Britain, and they wanted to have the books signed. Instead of sending the book to your cover artist, have the covers printed up and send the covers to your printer artist, have him sign those, and then take them back to the printer and have them bound to the book.
I never thought of that. I should ask about that next time.
It's a lot cheaper to mail it out that way too, because you're not mailing 100 books, you're mailing 100 sheets of
Right.
paper.
Well, I could only wish that I'd have to send 100 books to him.
Let's make that happen. Come on. 100 is good Lord, 100 backers. We should be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
Especially with a book that looks like this. This is great looking stuff.
Beautiful. Have you seen the covers? I mean, the covers.
I have. I'm going to get down to the covers. I'm an interior art inspector first, because I've been bitten too many times by that great looking, I'll say Zenoscope cover, because they're the ones that are most notorious. Although their interiors aren't awful, but they're definitely not usually the level of the cover artist. It's like,
Now,
oh, look, it's a
speaking of the
J. Scott
interiors,
Campbell cover, and it's who's this guy on the inside? Don't know.
speaking of the interiors, with Brian and Gabriel doing such a great art, and then my letter. This is one of the things that I definitely wanted to look at because I I suffer from dyslexia. So whenever it comes to lettering, I wanted to pick somebody who was great at it. And
Yeah.
with McLean McGuire, he worked his magic in this book. It was what I thought was perfect.
Letterers are unsung heroes.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, if they do their job right, nobody sees anything. Nobody even notices
Right.
it because nothing pulls them out of the story with the lettering. It's only when they screw up that you're like, well, this letterer sucks. Uh, but if they do it right, it's like no one sits there and says, wow, the lettering on this book is really good. They just, except maybe another letterer, he might, have a different
Well,
focus.
and like I said, suffering from dyslexia, sometimes whenever I was reading comics, it was hard to read. So whenever I came across McLean, he showed me examples of his lettering and how he did it a little bit different than most, and I loved it. The way he colored the caption boxes, the way he transitioned from one person to another, or the details whenever it came to something that it was exciting or had to be thrown out there. He just did so much, and he's done so much to help me with the book. McLean McGuire has been great.
So you've already thrown in the fact that there's serial killers. So the mystery is a murder mystery. It's not just tiger's missing. Where'd it go? It's not your Scooby Doo kind of mystery. It's just Scooby Doo flavored murder. Which
Right.
do you watch Supernatural?
I have, yes.
Did you see
Yeah.
the Scooby Natural episode?
Oh, I don't think I did. It's
You've
been so
got
long
to
since I've
watch.
seen those.
It's in season 13. You've got to find the Scooby Natural episode where the brothers get thrown into a television and become cartoons in a Scooby Doo episode. And when the gang finds out that the supernatural thing they're up against is actually real, they lose their mind. They just can't handle reality anymore. So now and the
Right.
one brother's such a big Scooby Doo fan. He's like, we can't just leave. We have to fix them. It's my favorite episode of the entire series. Eric Kent says that they have a dyslexia friendly font on Junior High Horrors, which is his book. I am interested in knowing more about that. What a dyslexia friendly font is.
And I'm telling you, the more that you look into it, the more you'll find out that lettering is so important. I started looking at letterers, and I think I went through about a good 20 of them, and they didn't seem to understand it. Whenever you're having to deal with this, and I've got 2 kids that are dyslexic as well, I wanted to make sure that everybody could read it and feel comfortable with it, because comics were such a big impact in my life. And with anyone who has dyslexia, it's so hard to read a regular novel and book. And whenever you get a comic that's a little bit easier and helps you out, it's just the world opens up.
Now your prices on this are incredibly cheap. You can get the PDF for $4.
Yes.
And a PDF with extras, which I guess
Yes.
the behind the scenes video, $6.
I got videos and sketches and just different kind of art. Art that I done, which trust me, nobody really wants it, but pay for the extras and you'll see it.
Yeah, because you want to draw something up in your way just to communicate to the artist. Hey, yeah, here's this stick figure and it kind of looks like this, and this is the pose I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
It's watching that cover right there. I have the actual art that I first drew whenever I showed him, and I don't know if you can see that right there, but I was like, I want something simple, something nice, something a tint. I don't know if you ever seen Rye Zero. It was
No.
the one with a big red circle and just Bloodshot standing with his silhouette
Oh,
there.
okay. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so beautiful, so simple, so legendary, and that's what I wanted whenever. And then William Russell captured my idea in such a way that was masterful.
Yeah, I love the wrought iron fence and
Yes.
the Ferris wheel in the back here. It's just, all that stark iron.
Yeah.
And this is the cover A, folks. This is the physical cover, $8. $8 for a 32-page comic book, physical book. And you still get the PDF with it. So that's an insanely cheap deal. Of course, you're probably going to want to look at the variant covers. You have, I must say, about a half a dozen variant possibilities here.
Yes.
And hopefully you're taking advantage of the add-on function so that people can get them all.
We got
so
other add-ons like mini prints and cards coming your way, and you can see all these covers are so different. The Voodoo covers by Ken Salinas, so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a completely different style, still just as beautiful. So this is a voodoo doll, a baseball, looks like one of those targets that you throw. Oh, you throw the baseball at the little knockover tiger target, which is modeled after the albino tigers that
right.
The circus is famous for, and the balloon animal. There's your villain. I'll never trust the balloon animal.
The balloon animal.
And there's only going to be 100 of these made. This is a 100 limited print run.
Right.
So if you want this one now for $10, now is the time to get it. I don't know how many have been taken already. Two of them have been taken already. So it's underway. This just kicked off a little bit ago. And by the way, folks, this is Paul's first live stream for promoting comics. So, throw questions at him. This is trial by fire.
I'm here. I'll take them all.
Also for $10, you can get the Voodoo. Wait a second. What did I? This is Voodoo's cover B by Ken. Okay, by Ken Salinas. This is the Voodoo's cover C by DJ Hall. And yes, this is nice.
A Star Wars homage. I mean, come on. I've seen all these homages lately for like horror movies and stuff, and I hadn't seen that many Star Wars homages, and I was like, I mean, isn't it just beautiful him holding that staff up with her and the tigers behind him?
Yeah, this is. I love it. I love it. DJ Hall did a great job doing this. And it looks like a movie poster. You got all the credits underneath of it here. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll want this. If you're not a Circus Comics fan, you're not going to read the book. You're just a Star Wars collector. This is the thing you want to get. You want to get this Star Wars homage and have that. Also for $10.
Right.
You get the silhouette cover. Now this is Matthew Brown has done this one, and this is all pencils, no inks.
Right. Well, we got the colors coming soon, and we played around with the idea of him just doing the pencils kind of thing, because look how beautiful it looks. And he's an up and coming artist. He did a great job with this cover. He's also going to do the mini prints and the cards that are going to be coming as add-ons.
Very cool. Click see those. Now this one's still, obviously in progress. It's a little bit more in progress than it was in the little picture above.
Right.
But again, I'm a pencil and ink guy. I've had people do commissions, and they're like, "Well, here's the pencils of it. I haven't put the inks on it yet." And I'm like, "Don't, just stop right there." And if they show up me, it's the inks already and haven't done the colors. I'll be like, "No, stop there." The more produced it gets, the more produced it looks to me. So,
and I was toying with the idea of doing one of these covers with just the pencils and giving them to like the local comic book stores that host me as a thank you kind of thing. Something that's a little bit more, that's not just out there for everyone like the rest of these covers, but because I love those too. I love the pencil sketches.
Yeah. And this one's inked, obviously, of course. Ariel has done a fabulous job on this. Have you worked with Ariel before? Are these all artists that you've worked with, or are these all artists that are new?
No, like I said, this is my second book, so I haven't worked with many artists. The only artist that I had on my first book was DJ Hall, and DJ did a great job for me. He did my cover A to my PTSD, and it was beautiful. Yeah.
Gotcha. So how did you go about finding artists when you're just getting started doing books and
Now,
getting them to listen to you?
right, and that's the main thing. It was like getting people to listen to me and taking my ideas into consideration. I've got to admit that I've had such great luck whenever it came to Charter Comics and to Chris Hayes, who runs Charter Comics with McLean McGuire. They've helped me get in touch with so many artists, so many cover artists, and so many just everybody in the industry that have been great and helping me every step of the way. So they introduced me to a lot of them. I met one or two networking, but I mean, with Charter Comics and Chris Hayes, they really introduced me to most of them.
So they had already established relationships and they could vouch for you, because
Right.
I can imagine, going out onto like, DeviantArt or wherever you go to find good artists and say, hey, I'm going to make a comic book. Would you want to draw it? And they're like, are you like Grant Morrison or somebody else? I'm
Right.
going to know the name. And because that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting to be discovered by somebody who's going to run a real comic book, not somebody's Kickstarter. But yeah, these all look great. You can get all 7 for $60. That means you're getting one of these for free,
including the blank, which you can find a great artist to draw a nice, beautiful circus kind of theme for you. That's what the blank is there for. And if you're at one of our signings where I have the cover artist there with me, they will draw one of those covers for you on there, and then you'll see how their magic works while they're doing it. You can commission them, and that's what you get.
Now this black one here, that's not going to be black. That's going to be the this cover right here that hasn't been done in yet. That's just gorgeous cover.
And if you take a second to look at that Jeremy Parker's cover right there, right in between,
right?
Oh, that one right there. I mean, he came on board late, and he had this idea that was just phenomenal, I thought. And we had the other covers already lined up and sketched, and most of them came with the ideas of what was going to be on them. Where Jeremy came with this idea, to me it was amazing, and I don't know if it does it justice, because if you can see like the diamond shapes and the gray and the black on that, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, this looks like a Tim Burton scene turned into a comic book panel.
His art is so unique. It was like whenever he came with that idea, I was like, I love it. And then he showed me, his roughs, and then showed this to me, and it was, I had to have it.
Yeah, I can why. For $80, you can get covers. Okay, this one's a little hoppy. You get cover A, yes, C through F, not B, but they're all going to be in foil.
Yes.
So there's only going to be 25 of those made, and I guess the only way to get a foil cover is to get all the foil covers.
Well, we had B as a special Black Friday event. Oh, so that's why B's not on there. It was only a 24-hour thing.
Okay, but if you want any one of these to be foil, you've got to get all of them in one shot. You can't just say, right, I want the Star Wars in foil.
Right.
Which is still, for the books you're getting, 5 books in foil covers. That's
foil, yeah.
Yeah. And yes, Mike, I am doing 2 streams tonight. I had somebody whose Kickstarter is running out of time, so I had to set them up for after this one. For $100, this Jeremy Parker piece that we were just discussing, and can be yours.
For $100, I think we got robbed, because his piece is beautiful.
Did that sell already?
Got it? It did. It already sold. I mean, could you imagine it lasting long?
No. $100 for original cover art? No. It probably was gone by the time the page refreshed when you loaded it up there.
I'm telling you, such a beautiful piece.
Retailer special. Love these. Love to, make sure that retailers can get crowdfunded books in their stores, because, it's crowdfunded market is big, but it's only a small slice of what collectors where they go to buy. Most of them going to go to a store, and then if they can't find it in the store, then they'll go check eBay. But they're not looking for new stuff,
Right.
other than in their store most of the time. So if you can get it in the store, and then they find out, oh, it's on Kickstarter, then they know where to get the rest of them if they, if their retailer doesn't pack them after that. But you're going to get 6. If you're a retailer for $75, you get 6 copies of A already. That's a deal.
Already.
You're getting 4 copies of C, 4 copies of B, 4 copies of D, 2 copies of E, plus 5 sets of trading cards, 4 copies of the 6x9 mini prints, and you'll get a digital PDF for yourself, and you will get your store name listed in the book. So you can't buy advertising for $75. Right. You're getting advertising for $75, plus you're getting stuff to resell in your store. That's a crazy deal. Take advantage of this while Paul is still not come to his senses, and has to fulfill. Yeah. Have anybody taken? One of them said, "Yeah, I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
I can't blame them.
And the thing
do you make sure they're a retailer?
Oh no. I mean, it's anyone can come pick this up. Here's the thing: I'm a brand new artist. I mean, I am so brand new that I feel I have to get it out there to you, and I know a lot of customers want this, so it's like, here you go. I'm trying to give it to you.
This is 20 copies of the book, 20. Plus extras for $75. If that's not enough, for $150, you can get 40 copies of the book and the extras. Flip them on eBay, people. Come on. This is a #1 limited print run. Get out there to another, collector who didn't know about it and wants to grow something, because the art on, oh my God. The art on these things is awesome. This is, of course, a representation of sketch art that you can get on the blank thing, but whoever did that did a wonderful job.
And this is the cover artist, Matthew Brown, right here. This is his lines are so beautiful, and they're just getting better by the day. So they've gotten one picked up, but this is what I'm trying to tell you. If you get one of these blanks and you get one of these cover artists to draw you a cover of what you want, I mean, if you want Frankenstein on there it is. But if you want a tent, if you want a trapeze, if you want a tiger, this is the way to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've only got a few blanks because I don't run into artists that often to, say, hey, do this, because conventions have long been out of my visitation cycle, so to speak. Right. Life has been more along the lines of what I've got to attend to. But maybe I'll get back to them in the near future here.
This is one way you don't have to go to a convention. You can order it right here. It will be sent to the artist. He'll do the commission of what you ask for, and then it'll be sent to you.
Yeah. So that's $125 for a Matthew Brown work, $175 for William Russell to work on a blank cover. Right. And there's only 2 of those available. They're still out there to be taken. I didn't see
William Russell is such a great artist. He's been on so many titles, including store exclusives such as Department of Truth, and he does a few Do You Poos, and he does so much great work. I mean, his art is extraordinary. That's why I have him for the cover A. And the reason I put that cover A at $8 is because I wanted you to get his art in your hands.
Yeah. Now, this one kind of scares me, Paul. And you being new to crowdfunding, you may know, you may not know, but you really mess with your shipping when you do this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know you can't ship media now, right?
I don't. I ship flat rate.
Okay, you ship flat rate priority. Okay.
I've never shipped media. So that if you want to know, I do Gemini boxes. I do flat rate. I try to make sure that I'm getting my product to you in the best way that I can.
Okay, then that's good. flat rate. You're talking about priority priority but mailboxes, and yeah, because there's an advantage to that because you can get a lot in that box. So all of your tiers
Right.
could pretty much ship for the same rate, except for that 40 copy one. Well, maybe
Exactly.
you can get them in that box. I don't know.
Possibly.
Depends on how they fit in there. But yeah, a full page ad for $300.
And I'm telling you
That's
now, one of the things that you want to do is get on with a hungry artist, a hungry creator, because I guarantee you that I'm going to push this book. And with every book I push, if you buy this tier, it's going to be your advertisement. And I'm going to push it and push it and push it like there's no tomorrow, because I want everybody to see all this gorgeous art that's in this book on the covers and the story that I have to tell.
yeah,
So why wouldn't you take advantage of 300 pages for, $300 for a page
full page, and it's going to
advertising?
be interior, so it's going to be in every copy,
Right.
not just cover
Right.
A, not
Yeah.
just cover B. Every single one of them will have your ad in it. And then you do have some stretch goals. We're getting down to the end of the we are at the end of the thing. Okay. 2 stretch goals. You have mini prints, and these have been unlocked. So these are 6x9, bigger than a postcard, twice as big as a postcard,
Yes.
actually. And Matt Brown is doing one is William Russell, one is Matt Brown. These are these both covers?
Those are 2 of the covers, yes.
Okay.
And then we've got the 1600, which are the stickers of the Voodoo cover. And I got to admit, like I said, I'm a first time, I guess second book creator, because this was my first book that I started, though. So having said that, I never even imagined that I would get funded. The fact that we're on our stretch goals, we're sitting and talking and about the next stretch goals and what else is to come after this.
Yep, you're gonna have
It
to start thinking of. You don't have to, but you might want to sit down and
Mhm.
start thinking of stretch goal number 3, and what
Definitely.
kind of, look up your Circus supply stores.
Yeah.
See what you can get. See if you could get like Booshie Boo Circus patches, like like Circus people
Right.
would have a patch on the back of their jacket of where they work. You can make it look like you work at the Booshie Boo Circus.
And
Um,
one of the things I was thinking of is like a paper tent, just a flat piece of paper that you roll up to make the base, and then a
yeah,
flat piece that you roll up to make the top of the tent. But again,
the
we're still talking about a lot of stuff, and
little punch out thing. Yeah.
we've hit that 1200 mark, and we're trying to get this beautiful book to you. So if we get to that next tier, we'll definitely have other stretch goals to come. And like I said, we're working on add-ons like mini prints and other things like stickers and cards that you can add on that are different than the stretch goals.
Well, this one's going on my to watch list. And if I haven't done it already, put it right there. Because I'll be honest with you, when it comes to Kickstarter, I'm a last day backer.
Right.
Because I'm like, I like them to take my money when I tell them to take my money.
Right.
Because I use PayPal for this, because that's my mad money. And whenever I use PayPal, my routine is this: that looks nice. It's how much do I have in PayPal? I have it in PayPal, and I spend it. And if I do that with Kickstarter, and Kickstarter says, okay, we'll come back next month for that, I'm going to look the next day in PayPal. I'm going to say, oh, I have money in PayPal, and I'm going to spend it. And then it won't be there when they come for it next month. And then I
Right.
have problems. So that's going on my to watch list. Folks, if you haven't backed this one, I urge you to click the link below this video. It's right underneath. You can't miss it. It's the very first line in the description of the video. It's also been pinned to the top of the chat this entire time. So
Yes.
you no excuse. It won't even take you away from the video when you click on it. You could click on it, opens in a new window, put in your credit card information. We can't see it. We're not peeking over there. Fill it out, throw money at this thing. Yes, it's been funded. You're going to get the book now, so you don't have to worry about that. But
Yes.
it needs to be funded a whole lot more than $1,300. The book's
And I gotta say,
done. This is print costs.
that we've been given the badge of projects we love by Kickstarter, and we are greatly appreciated. We appreciate every backer and everyone who takes their time just to notice us. It has been a great ride, and I'm definitely just starting to take a look at it.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for coming on here tonight and bringing this to us. If you want to come back before the campaign's over, like on the last week of it, just to get another push for it, you're welcome anytime. We'll make room for you whenever you want to come on. I think this is a project that deserves this kind of attention. Every once in a while, I adopt projects, and this one's saying, "Papa RJ, take me home, pick me up, show me off." So yeah, this one's going to be a special project, so to speak. All right. Well, thank you again for bringing it on to us onto the show tonight here. Folks in the chat, appreciate you showing up. We don't have a show without you. And as always, we just hope you had a blast.